Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today, to celebrate Christmas and the New Year's, I'm gonna give you a little treat. Welcome to the top 30 One Piece characters. Now, this is going off of strength, and is basically the 30 strongest characters. We are including characters in the prime, people who don't have too crazy of feats. You can make exceptions for them. I just didn't make that many. However, speaking of exceptions, I'm getting this right out of the way. Mihawk. Look, I Mihawk is honestly more vague than anyone else on this list. He is more vague than any of the Prime characters. He is more vague than Blackbeard. He is more vague than Shanks. Because guess what? Shanks is already pretty vague. And then you have Mihawk doing a different version of Shanks, even though Shanks hasn't done much. Like when you look at Shanks' feats, he's clashed with Whitebeard, supposedly beat Kaido, and duel Mihawk, and they were legendary, and bullied Sakazuki. But where does Mihawk scale to that? Is Mihawk Yonko level? Is Mihawk like Admiral level? Was Shanks Admiral level 6 years ago? Or was he even weaker? I don't know. So, he's not on the list. I know. Maybe I'll do a full video on how powerful is Mihawk in my opinion. But, comment below if you want something like that. So, number 30, we're starting off with Dogstorm, or Nekomamushi. Now, a lot of people are wondering if I'm including him, I must be including Cat Viper, right? Well, no. See, the reason I'm not including him is because Dogstorm fought a stronger opponent, being Jack. And they both fought Jack, but what I'm talking about is spoilers for the manga, by the way. I know, a shocker, right? But anywho, so Dogstorm, he fought against Jack, obviously, at Zou, but then he lost. But now at Oginoshima, he fought against Jack again with the help of Cat Viper. But then after the rooftop clash, then Dogstorm beat Jack later on, whereas Cat Viper took out Sparrow. So we're looking at someone who beat Sparrow compared to someone who beat Jack. And Sparrow is not one of the sweet commanders. However, I think he is the closest to being a sweet commander. But I don't think he's at... I think, honestly, if you dropped Smoothie and put Sparrow there, like Oda didn't need to include Smoothie. By the way, I know you guys might not be able to tell because my mic is just so bad, but I'm kind of a little sick right now. Just a little bit, though. But yeah, my throat is slowly killing itself. So, yeah, Dogstorm over Cat Viper, I think. Or at least he's shown a better feat, and I didn't want to include two characters in the same spot. Next, number 29, I have Ace. Now, I'm including Ace and Sabo as different characters. I do understand that some people are going to be pretty angry about this, but I don't care. So what are Ace's feats? He's obviously stronger than most of the Toby. He's stronger than the Toby Roppo, obviously. And he's strong enough to beat a commander level opponent, obviously. Because he is a commander. He did stalemate Kuzan's attack, or Alkiji, who is very strong. However, he did have fire compared to ice. I don't know how great, that works for you, but for me, he also just hasn't shown too much. Like, if I were comparing him to Sabo, Sabo is a decent bit stronger. Like, yeah, okay, we assume that Ace has Haki, both observation and he technically has Conquerors, though he didn't use it. But his most impressive feat, I would say, is stalemating out, not stalemating Alkiji, but stalemating one attack and then losing to Akainu Sakazuki. He was able to fight Yamato. However, this was a base Yamato with the Sea Prism shackles on. So he's stalemating this incredibly weak Yamato. Like, Ulti is able to press this Yamato. But, well, I say press, but you get what I mean. They're close enough where the only reason Yamato one shot Ulti is because she was off guard. So, yeah, Ace is number 29. Number 28 is NL. And yeah, I hear all you King of Lightning fans, you're cheering right now, and all the Ace stands probably want me dead. Listen, man. NL has some deliciously juicy feats, alright? Like, I'm talking, he blew up an island. He's got some. Basically, all he needs is durability. But even then, he has crazy observation Haki. And if he was fighting anyone other than Luffy, I honestly think he would have beat them. Like, the thing is, NL is so hard to hit, and you have to be able to turn off your mind, which is something that, like certain characters can do, like probably King, or not King, um, probably Big Mom can do it, but others who are constantly thinking like they would need to catch him in other ways, and that's not me saying that an L can just dodge anything. It's just me saying like an L has crazy high attack. Lightning is ridiculously powerful. Everyone everyone who is in a right state of mind calls this the most broken Logia, and frankly, I don't blame them. It's If we're going off of real world physics, 33% of the speed of light, so Kizaru's fruit, but in any direction whatsoever. And he's got the crazy high attack powers, and all he needs is storm clouds in order to like destroy an island. I feel like that's pretty impressive. Yeah, like I think if an L rolled up to Marineford with Whitebeard, it would have been a very different story. Next, Don Quixote Don Flamingo. And personally, I think this is where you jump up. For example, number 28 and number 27, there's like a whole, like if this was a tier list, there's a whole tier between the bottom three and the next little group. So, Don Flamingo, Birdcage, pretty great. Awakened his Devil Fruit. Took a Gear 4 Luffy. Sanji, before a Dressrosa level Sanji, wasn't really able to put up much of a fight, but Sanji obviously got much stronger since then. But it's just saying, like, Don Flamingo was meant to be a powerhouse. It wasn't like Horty Jones where, Zorro put him down and then, two minutes later he got back up and was like, all right, boys, but now Oda's gonna pump me full of roids so I can do more stuff in the plot. All right. Also, Haki, great. All three types of Haki, fantastic. That's what you need. And all around, just a better combatant than most people in the verse. Number 26, Cracker. Yeah, Cracker's really strong, my guy. Like, really, really strong. So we have Cracker, who can create an army of these things. And if he was versing anyone other than Luffy at the time, they would have been dead. Like, I don't know many. There are no combatants that are below him that can probably beat him unless you bring up hacks like, Sugar just like pokes him in the leg and then boop, gone. But I'm not counting stuff like that. and also that's very situational. So in a general sense, Cracker is really strong. He can create multiple bodies. These bodies became so hard that it took a Gear 4 Luffy to break through. Keep in mind, this Gear 4 Luffy was the same one that was doing heavy damage to Don Flamingo. Now, obviously, Mingo is very strong. It's just that the reason I put Cracker above him is because creating multiple bodies and needing Luffy to go Gear 4 and fight you for 12 hours on end. Or no, I think that was only. But he still fought him throughout the night. And it was very intense. And basically fueled Luffy's progression. Because Whole Cake Island was what sort of propelled Luffy and put him on the path to becoming a Yonko. Evident by the end, obviously. Number 25 is Queen. Queen is stronger than Cracker. Heads up, I did not put Smoothie on this list. I have no idea what she can do. And frankly, until Oda gives us something, apart from her being able to beat Reiju, but woohoo, so can everyone else on this list. So Queen is really, really strong. Sanji obviously beat him, but, Sanji's a little bit higher up on this list, so, no shocker. Queen's really strong, really versatile, has all of German Double Six's abilities, which is incredibly handy. I don't think people gave Queen enough credit for that. That is impressive, beyond a doubt. And I-beam, so he's got long range, he's got close range, he's got observation and armament. I believe it was verified in a data book. So basically, he's got a powerful Zoan, an ancient Zoan, Brachiosaurus. He's got everything you need to, do well off on the big blue sea. 24 is Sabo. I was talking about Sabo being a little bit higher than Ace. Sabo's shown some better feats. However, hearing about what happened at Marijois doesn't really fill me with too much hope. It was Sabo and 4 of Dragon's commanders versus 2 admirals, Greenbow and Fujitora. And Fujitora was a little bit scuffed up, but not that bad in the grand scheme of things. So this either is a crazy feat for Sabo, or you look at it as a 5v2 and you're like, what is going on? So the admirals must be much stronger. So it turned into a 5v2 from what we can gather. Things obviously didn't go too well for Sabo, apparently. Fujitora is not scruffed up too bad. So, he's a little bit weaker than Fujitora, I think. So, also he was fighting Fujitora on Dressrosa, but Fujitora was extremely casual at the time, and he did not take major actions unless it was to protect civilians. Speaking of Fujitora, he is number 23, and he is basically a little bit stronger than Sabo, obviously. You saw this coming. Also, Don Flamingo was actively kind of sweating when Fujitora decided to press him, and that kind of led to Don Flamingo making more mistakes down the line because he had pressure on him. And I'm not saying, Fujitora dismantled this entire thing and he's got a big brain, even he's smarter than Aizen, but, he definitely can hang with some of the best. Number 22, Sanji. It's hard to say whether Sanji was stronger with or without the raid suit, but spoilers, he doesn't have the raid suit anymore, so right now we gotta do with this Sanji. Who knows, maybe he'll get a custom raid suit by Vegapunk, hopefully. Man, I love the raid suit. I was sad to see it go, but I'm so happy that Sanji developed. His development was great. So he can increase his leg now, the heat of his leg, to include fire and lightning. It's almost as if lightning is hotter than fire. Anywho, so Sanji's really strong, really mobile. Skywalk, obviously, very good for maneuverability. Fire, he can turn invisible. However, I don't know how well this works. Um, People say that he can become invisible by moving so fast your eyes can track, but that also means that's not invisible. Like, that's just movement speed, which might not work against some of the higher tiers. So his invisibility might actually just wear himself out. Unless it is true invisibility, it's not super clear, but I'm going with what we have right now. And keep in mind, this is chapter 1035. 1036 comes out next week, boys. So, not this week, next week, the Sunday. All right, 21, King. I put King above Sanji. I don't think King would lose to Sanji. We saw him fight a Sanji. Granted, that was a weaker Sanji with the raid suit, but we also didn't see the full extent of King. So King can manipulate fire. Obviously, he has two different modes: a speed mode and a defense mode. Both being able to switch between them is really good. It took Zorro a little bit to find out, and Zorro is actually really smart when it comes to combat. So it might be a little harder for certain people on this list, especially when they have to deal with King to figure it out. So his fire is really hot. Also, Pteranodons, they're just mobile. Like they can fly, man. I know this. Flying's great. All right, flying is fantastic. Okay, number 20, Zorro. Yes, Zorro is stronger than Sanji. Fight me. I do not care. And another thing, if we're talking about controversial events, I don't agree with people who say that Zoro and Sanji had easy fights. All right, that is not true. Every time people like to bring this up as if there's like not a gap between Luffy and the others. Oh, well, like like uh Rob Lucci is twice as strong as Kaku pretty much, but like Zoro had a much easier time with Kaku than Luffy did with Rob Lucci. So Zoro's probably outbid. Zoro's probably like right behind Luffy, and it's like no, no, that's not how it works. All right, look, I'm gonna say this right now. I think Luffy is head and shoulders above every member of his crew. If he really wanted to, he could probably take his entire crew in a fight. I don't care what you say. That is my opinion. All right? Luffy solos the Straw Hats. um, so Zoro had a very tough fight with King. Um, had he was able to chop off one of the wings, figure out everything, and also, guys, we know it's Zoro. Like he scarred Kaido. That's impressive. But you know what's more impressive? Being a new character, but still ranking extremely high on the popular polls. Who am I talking about? Well, none other than Yamato. So, who is Yamato? Well, Yamato is Kaido's son, daughter, person, Odin. Let's go with Odin. Oh wait, no, Odin's on this list. So, Yamato is really strong. She/he is very strong, was able to hold off Kaido. However, Kaido definitely was going easy on her because he wasn't. That's his child, and Yamato is clearly not Yonko level. I don't even think Admiral level. Um, but Yamato is very strong and able to one-shot ulti when Yamato was still in Sea Prism Stone handcuffs. So one-shotting ulti and then stalemating Luffy with handcuffs on and stalemating Ace with handcuffs. So you find that, with these partial Sea Prism cuffs, she's still boxing with, pretty strong contestants. Granted, they're probably not going all out, but, that's the thing. Like, she's still a powerhouse. She's got a mythical zone. It appears to have some sort of ice ability. It looked like she was able to create ice armor around herself to take a hit, and all around good stuff. Next is 18, Eustis Captain Kid. He is very strong. Um, mag- Magnetism awakened his devil fruit. Is currently fighting Big Mom along with another contender of this list, and really is I, I I can see him being higher if Oda really wants to go with the oh he's Luffy's rival aspect, but it doesn't appear like that. It appears like Luffy is head and shoulders above Kid, so not really much you can do. So all that's left for him is a place in number 18. Number 17 is Katakuri. Hell yeah, donuts for the win. So I will. Katakuri is above Don Flamingo, Cracker Queen, Zorro, Yamato, and Kid. Why do I think this? Okay, Future Sight is busted, and the thing is, most people do not agitate him, so this, oh, you need to be calm in order to use it. He is a very calm and collective individual, evident by the fact he is able to deduce and counter many events that happened, especially in Whole Cake Island. Let's face it, if he was not around, Whole Cake Island would have been so much easier, but he was there and we got a great fight out of it. Fought Luffy for around 12 hours. Now, granted, it wasn't, Luffy would use Gear 4, back off, then, but he would continually do it and continually win. And it's just some crazy feats. Also, another way I would like to base this is I try to picture myself, or not myself, and I would try to picture these characters in other situations. For example, do I think if it was Law and Katakuri versus Big Mom, do I think it would be as hard? No, I think Katakuri. Now, granted, Katakuri doesn't have the craziest defense, I would say, but he is still incredibly strong, and I think his willpower to do certain things is really going to help him, especially after the Luffy fight, because Luffy definitely changed him. Now, I'm not saying Katakuri's about to join. Katakuri's about to join. He is the 10th Straw Hat actually. Jinbei, Yamato, you guys ain't new crew members. It's Katakuri all the way. Hashtag Katakuri for Straw Hat. Um, yeah, though, Katakuri, number 17. Number 16, Law. Trafalgar D. Water Law, I think. Um, so, Room is busted. There's a busted Devil Fruit. Good hockey. Good attacks. Dismemberant. He is a lot stronger than he was, because originally he would have been number 28, but you can clearly see how much he's grown. Now, of course, he did kind of get nerfed a little bit because the immense amount of hockey means that, his Devil Fruit powers don't work as well, but hey, what are you going to do, right? So he makes the most of it. Again, another awakened Devil Fruit. You can see there are 3 awakened Devil Fruits right here, and probably another one coming up. Actually, most people who have a Devil Fruit up here have probably awakened it just because of who they are, with the exception of a few. But, we're going to talk about those exceptions later. So, Law is right here at number 16. Number 15, Kizaru. Yeah, an admiral at number 15. We're at the halfway point, boys. So, I think Kizaru is the weakest out of the admirals, not because of his Devil Fruit. His Devil Fruit is extremely good. He has shown advanced armament hockey, and it's basically been confirmed that he has advanced armament, advanced observation. So he's got what you need. Conquerors is always just a bonus. You don't necessarily need it unless you're an antagonist of the arc. But yeah, so Katakuri has, or not Katakuri, Kizaru, Admiral level, obviously very strong, just the weakest out of the 3 admirals. Next is Sengoku, but I'm putting Sengoku in his prime. Personally, I think out of like the older men, I, Sengoku is not as hyped as like say Rayleigh or Whitebeard or Roger or any of these other people. He just doesn't carry the same weight to him, I feel at least. So I just put him at 14, obviously above Kizaru, but I would not say he is as strong as the current top tier admiral level characters. Also, I'm not including Green Bull. I'm not too vague. Number 13, Marco. Yeah, people are pretty. I don't know how controversial this is going to be, but look, guys, I'm not backing down. Marco is strong. All right, Marco, I think, is the strongest first commander of the current day. There's obviously a couple people who, are a little bit stronger, who are a little bit higher up on the list, and you probably know who I'm talking about. Whitebeard had some strong disciples and some strong commanders. But hey, Marco was able to hold off King and Queen. He wasn't able to beat them, but he did hold them off. And I don't care what you say, that is still impressive. Yes, he can regenerate, but it's a flaming pterodactyl and a dinosaur that shoots laser beams. The fact that he's doing well, I think that's a win. That is a win in my book. Um, we obviously know he's not on the same level as the Yonko. His fight with Kizaru was pretty. Um, I don't want to say not relevant because it definitely was, but it's sort of inconclusive because let's face it, if Pops didn't have the heart attack, or if Whitebeard didn't have the heart attack, and Marco didn't look away, what was Kizaru gonna do? Shoot more laser beams at him? Oh boy, that's gonna work so well. Not like he regenerates. So he needed the Sea Prism cuffs, otherwise I think Kizaru would have lost, just out of stamina. We also know he can manipulate staminas and heal people, which is something great. Uh, Next, Prime Rayleigh. Now, Prime Rayleigh is obviously above Kizaru, I think, because Old Man Rayleigh was around Kizaru's level, if not a little bit, more or less. He was at that level. So Prime Rayleigh, he made it a point to say, hey, if I was in my prime, this wouldn't be as hard. I'd have more stamina. I'd be stronger, yada, yada, yada. So, Rayleigh's stronger, basically. Take all of Rayleigh's stats, boost them up. Also, Rayleigh is probably the best user of every type of hockey we've seen. Everything he busts out is, like, casually, is stuff that Luffy right now is just tapping into, and it's just becoming relevant. Even though Rayleigh was doing this like pre-time skip, it's insane. Now, above Rayleigh is Garp. A couple people might be surprised that Garp is this low. Personally, I don't think Garp is very strong. I feel like he's been overhyped. Also, I'm not including rocks on the list. I'm getting that out of the way. I have no idea how to rank rocks. It could be he's like extremely weak, or he could be super strong because it's like, oh, well, Roger and Garp took out rocks and all of his commanders, or what? So it's just very confusing until we get that eventual God Valley flashback, which, let's face it, we're gonna get. It'd be a waste not to get it. Then I'll rank rocks, maybe in 2026. So yeah, Prime Garp, very strong. I don't think he could kill any of the admirals. I don't think he could kill Akainu. Not as an old man and not in his prime. I think the best feat we've seen from him is him like punching Marco or him punching Don Chinchou. But Dressrosa Gear 3rd and 2nd Luffy was able to beat Don Chinchou. So that doesn't really say much. So yeah, Prime Garp, from what I feel, is more of a stepping stone to these upper class fighters. and not on the same level as, Roger, obviously, who's much higher up on the list. Next is Alkiji, and I'm just going to get these both out of the way, Alkiji and Akainu. So Kuzan and Sakazuki. We know they're pretty relative. Personally, I think they've gone stronger since their fight, because, pushing yourself to your limits makes you stronger. That's just how anime works. So, you have that. These two, pretty strong. Two Logias. Logias don't mean as much in the post-time skip because of hockey, but I'd still take a Logia. Like, man, Akainu's supposed to have a really powerful, like the most powerful attack, I think, out of any devil fruit. And Alkiji is, man, ice is just so versatile. You can freeze water. If we were ranking devil fruits, that'd be even higher up on the list, because, man, freezing like one of two weaknesses. You literally cut your weaknesses in half when you eat this fruit, of like stuff that counters most devil fruit users. That's great. That's exactly what you need. So the 10-day fight, they're both crazy strong. Granted, they're probably Yonko level now. Like, they're probably on the same level as like a Big Mom or a Kaido. Granted, I still think they lose to either of them, but putting up a fight does not mean you're as strong as them. Now, excuse me. So, next, number 8. Odin. Yes. The Chad of Wano. He is here. So, how strong is Odin? Crazy strong and ridiculously good at stuff. He has... Oda loves him. Oda loves Odin. Ichiro Oda is like, hey, this buddy Odin of mine? I'm going to buff him every time we mention swords. Every time Kaido talks about a scar. Every time a swordsman does something impressive. Guess what? Odin is right there, right behind you, about to kick your... So, fought Kaido, obviously, pretty much to a standstill. I don't think he would have won the fight, because Kaido did not use his hybrid form, which is something he only... Granted, I feel like if it was written nowadays, when Oda wasn't saving up for a big reveal, because I think the big reveal of his hybrid form was something he saved. He got scarred in Dragon Point. However, this is a weird topic. I think Kaido's dragon form is his weakest form, followed by... I think his forms go hybrid as the strongest, human as the second strongest, and then dragon as the third. Just because the dragon one is such a big target, and it feels like, people make a big deal out of cutting him, but it's just as hard to cut his human flesh as it feels like it is to cut his dragon flesh. Maybe his dragon flesh is slightly harder, but then again, he is also that much bigger of a target, and it's very hard to, not notice him, because, I'm sorry, you better notice the flying dragon. So yeah, Odin, crazy strong. I would say he's in between, where it's the average admiral. He's above the average admiral, obviously, but I would say he's obviously below all the Yonko. Next is number 7, Blackbeard. Blackbeard, 2 devil fruits, guys, come on. So, 2 devil fruits, the Yami Yami no Mi and the Goro Goro no Mi. So, fruit that basically hits like a truck, stuffed inside a bigger truck, stuffed inside a bigger truck, stuffed inside a battleship. The Yami Yami no Mi. No one has any idea what the full extent of it is. Look, we've seen it. I guarantee you Blackbeard still has more tricks up his sleeve. He's crafty. He knows how to use it. He's been researching that fruit for decades. I really think he's going to pull ahead. He's being set up as a final villain for One Piece. People have been saying for years that he's going to be a final villain. And next up is number 6. This is a little weird. I put Luffy. Now, everyone is wondering, what am I on? How is Luffy stronger than Blackbeard? But yet Luffy is supposed to have Blackbeard as a final villain. I think Blackbeard is going to play cheap tricks and play dirty, and also bust out ancient weapons. So the way I see it is basically Luffy is going to be in a similar position to what Kaido is right now, where Luffy will have to fight multiple opponents before fighting Blackbeard. Sort of like what happened at Whole Cake Island, but I think to a larger extent, and there's going to be more emphasis on that. So Luffy right now, all three types of he's advanced all three types of hockey, which is something that only really strong characters like Rayleigh can do. And I know I didn't rank Rayleigh too high, but if we're including hockey or not, if we're talking about hockey as in general, Luffy is probably one of the best out there. He's always adapting. He has multiple Gear 4 forms, and they keep adapting on the fly. We're all speculating about another Gear 4 or a Gear 5, which is going to be crazy. Also, they just buffed his attack by a crazy amount. Those Conqueror Hockey hits are, man, they are crazy. He uppercutted Kaido with that. We all saw it. We all lost our minds. Next, number 5, Big Mom. Yes, Big Mom above Luffy. Shut up. Uh, I know Big Mom is the most disrespected out of the Yonko, and I get that. She's still very strong, and I still do not feel comfortable putting anyone really above her on this list, apart from the like 4 people I have. Big Mom has also been shown the stalemate base Kaido, like human Kaido. Now, I don't think she could kill Kaido really in a one-on-one fight. She's actually a little bit smarter and craftier than people give her credit for. Personally, I think she might betray Kaido this arc, but I don't think she's gonna backstab him. I think she's just gonna hear he gets defeated and then runs away. But yeah, that's my take. So Big Mom, crazy strong, crazy durable. Also, she has very high mobility compared to that of like older Whitebeard. Like older Whitebeard, he's really strong, but he wasn't moving around too much compared to Big Mom, who can hop on, Hera and just zoom around. That's a crazy high buff. Number 4, I'm about to lose every single. I think King of Lightning has died a little inside when I said this. Shanks at number 4. So, please, King of Lightning, don't kill me. um, personally, Shanks is look. Shanks is basically the second strongest, apart from the other two who we know they are, but we're saving that for later. So Shanks, um, we haven't seen too much of him. I think he could still make. I don't think he stalemated Kaido as much as he did. Relatively talked him down, apart from having his entire crew there. But yet in the books, like the side material, we find out that King was with Kaido, but we don't hear anything else. And yeah, I know, but it's still like, okay, so Ben Beckman fights King, then everyone else jumps Kaido. It's Kaido versus the Nine Scabbards, except the Nine Scabbards also have Luffy and Yamato and Zorro and Sanji. That's basically what happened. So give Kaido some credit, man. But that's not to say Shanks is weak. I have him at number 2 for a reason. Boy, the only listen, he might lose to Blackbeard, but I guarantee you he's going to be stronger than Blackbeard. He's stronger than Big Mom, 100%. The only reason he might lose to Blackbeard is if Blackbeard pulls some BS. That is the only way I can feasibly see Blackbeard losing to Shanks. Next, number 3, Kaido. Look, Kaido, very strong. Uh, we've been reading the manga, and if you have not, you've also been watching the anime. Guess what? if you're this far in and you're not gonna get spoiled, well, you're getting spoiled again. Kaido. This man had to fight the Nine Scabbers, then partake in the supernovas. He's been lifting up an entire island, fought his child, who's like around admiral level, I want to say, maybe a little bit less, but still very strong. So he's fought basically at least first commander level threats consistently. Like, to put it in perspective, it's Kaido versus King again, versus King again, versus King, versus King, versus King, versus King, versus King, rinse and repeat, and only now are we seeing Kaido show slight signs of fatigue. Emphasis on slight. Slight. This man lifted all of Oginoshima out and picked it up and zoomed it. He is zooming it towards the capital. This man is insane, and he has, I swear, it's the fact that we're seeing his stamina lose now rather than, say, I don't know, like 30 chapters ago is insane. And it just shows how strong he is. Number 2, Whitebeard Prime version. Personally, if we're going off of this, I only included one version of each. For example, Prime Whitebeard and Old Man Whitebeard, if they were, I think Prime Whitebeard is obviously number 2, but Old Man Whitebeard is like, he would probably be weaker than Blackbeard, honestly. And it's crazy to, or maybe even weaker than like some of the current day admirals, because Whitebeard did get on in age, but that, I feel like that's, you can see how, okay, when he was an old man, he was dying. He needed medical equipment. He was still the biggest threat at Marineford. Don't even lie. All right, look. If he suffered a backstab from Squirtle, and Marco wasn't around to heal him. All right, listen. If Squirtle didn't backstab him, if he didn't have the heart attack, if he could, if Marco was able to get to him, Marineford would have been a different case. All right. Whitebeard was putting in work, and he was old, and he was dying. Everyone talked about how, oh, if it was Whitebeard back then, Squirtle wouldn't even be able to hit him. If it was Whitebeard from back then, he wouldn't be. Then we finally, so we're hearing about this for eons, what feels like an eternity. Then we finally get to the Odin flashback, and guess what? Whitebeard is there, and guess what? He's crazy powerful. We saw him clearly listen, Odin is really strong. He clearly is above Odin by a significant margin. So, what do you take when you see the number 8 spot on this list, and you take a guy who's, I would argue Whitebeard is not in his prime in the Odin flashback? It's hard to say. It is very hard to say because we don't know when characters peak. We more just know when, we know, oh, they're not sick anymore. They weren't sick at this time, so does that mean they peaked? Or was it like, oh, a few years after that, that my sickness catch up to me and all that, juicy backstory. So, you can probably guess who number 1 is. Obviously, it's Usopp. Good night. Alright, for real, it's Roger. And more specifically, Roger in his prime. Let's see. Roger, coughing up blood, stalemated Whitebeard, who was pretty strong at the time. Stronger than anybody else. So, we have the first guy stalemating the second guy on this list for 3 days. But one was coughing up blood, and the other we were given no signs of a crazy, terrible sickness. So, we see this, and we go, wow, Roger's impressive. Then we hear about it, and then we go, wow, Roger's impressive. I'm sorry, but look, Roger is the stepping stone, or no, he's not a stepping stone for Luffy. He is the wall, alright? There are other characters who are stepping stones who he needs to surpass. Roger is the wall that Luffy will have to climb. He's not going to be... It is going to be an extremely difficult task. Luffy is not at that level yet. Neither is anyone else on this list. The one person who I will actually assume reaches Roger's level is Luffy and Im. But that's because I think the world government is going to be a final villain before Blackbeard. Or no, after Blackbeard. I think the world government is the ultimate villain rather than Blackbeard. But that's just my 2 cents. So the only people who I think can surpass Roger, who have the potential to surpass Roger, are currently Im and maybe Rocks, but that's very difficult to say. So, you see all this. You see all the crazy stuff Roger done. You see the hype around him. So you just know he's a powerhouse waiting to be unleashed. Because I guarantee you, when we saw Whitebeard versus Roger, everyone was freaking out over that and loving every second of it. I guarantee you, eventually we'll see another Roger flashback and people are going to eat that up too. So, it's got to be Roger at number 1. I can't think of anyone else who I would put at number 1. Alright. That's the top 30. So, the summarize, quick fast. Dogstorm, number 30. Number 29, Ace. Number 28, NL. Number 27, Don Flamingo. Number 26, Cracker. Number 25, Queen. Number 24, Sabo. Number 23, Fujitora. Number 22, Sanji. Number 21, King. Number 20, Zorro. 19, Yamato. 18, Eustis Captain Kid. 17, Katakuri. 16, Law. 15, Kizaru. 14, Sengoku Prime. 15, Marco. 13, Marco. 12, Prime Rayleigh. 11, Prime Garp. 20, Alkiji / Kuzan. Number 9, Akainu / Sakazuki. Number 8, Odin. Number 7, Blackbeard. Number 6, Luffy. Number 5, Big Mom. Number 4, Shanks. Number 3, Kaido. Number 2, Whitebeard. Number 1, Roger. Both in their primes. So, after that quick little summary, what did you guys think of this list? How crazy. Do you agree with me? Do you not? And you know what? If you want to, I would like to hear your opinions. Yeah, that's right. I want to hear what do you agree with? What do you disagree with? And what are your top 30? Also, if you want to share this with anyone or like, comment, subscribe, go right ahead. So, without further ado, have a fantastic night.